light is really bright up there.
Good morning, everybody in Australia. This is a special, obviously it's Monday morning for all of you. It's a special Friday morning hangout, our Australian edition. This is a special one we're doing and related to the Small Biz Hack. We have our guest partner on today. It's PayPal. Claudia Kaiser is joining us. We will kick things off in a moment, but I just wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping slides before we do and jump into that. And if I click, it should go to the next slide. There we go. So as a reminder, for the third year in a row, we again are doing the Small Business App Showdown. You now have 94 days to get your app live and on apps.com and registered for the Showdown contest. Now, don't wait till day 93 to do this. You probably want to shoot for July 1st, that first, maybe the second week of July at the latest, because you need time to go through the tech review, the security review, the legal review, the marketing review to get published on apps.com. But what we're doing is we're taking the top 10 finalists, we bring them into QuickBooks Connect, they pitch in front of a panel of judges, and the winner takes home $100,000. But it's not just winning this that's important. Being one of the 10 finalists is a big deal. So we've been taking the 10 finalists on a tour. So we've taken them to Startup Grind. We're taking the finalists to Scaling New Heights next month. So we're really helping the finalists get a lot of exposure because of this contest. So it's not just, hey, you show up, you pitch 3 minutes, and that's the end of the story for you. So the finalists are really trying to keep the momentum and the drum beating on this all year round. So those of you that are not in it yet, please hurry up. 94 days left. And as I mentioned, start place marking your calendars for QuickBooks Connect in San Jose. This is November 5th through the 7th. What we'll do is we'll bring in the entire QuickBooks ecosystem under one roof. So we'll have 2,700 to 3,000 accountants. We'll have small business owners there. We'll have developers. And by the time it's all said and done, there's about 6,000 of us there under roof. Mark that in your calendars. Start planning on doing that. And then the other thing is we're taking QuickBooks Connect on the road. So we are doing 4 cities now: San Jose, Toronto, London, and Sydney. Sydney is next week now, 10 days away. I think I leave on Tuesday, so it's coming up very, very soon. And you can register for that. Just go to au.quickbooksconnect.com. And the reason most of us are here or attending or watching this is because of the Small Biz Hack Sydney. So this is coming up, I guess it's this week now. It's this coming Saturday morning. We will be doing the Small Biz Hack Sydney. We are bringing the Intuit developer team there. We are going to have partners. Google's going to be a partner. PayPal is going to be a partner, Telstra is going to be a partner, and QuickBooks is going to be a partner. This website did not load very good. I don't know what that weird blur is at the top, but interesting. But yeah, all you have to do is build something that saves small businesses time and money. So it's a $5,000 Australian dollar top prize, and then all the partners are going to have prizes, and then we'll have other prizes for fun, and we'll give everybody food and drinks and everything. It's a really, really good time. If you haven't registered yet, definitely go to smallbizhacksydney.com to do that. And if it clicks my clicking is not working today. There we go. Sorry about that. And just like this event and all other events we're doing, any of the Hangouts, you can always find those on developer.intuit.com/hub/events. And without further ado, I'm going to stop my sharing and we'll flip over to Claudia so you guys can say hi to Claudia. Escape. Stop sharing. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning for you. I think it's Sunday night for me, but good morning for you. You're in the future, right?
Yes, I am in the future. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, tell us about about PayPal. Tell us about you.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just start with introducing myself. I'm a technical account manager at PayPal Australia. So I essentially look after PayPal Australia's top accounts from a technical perspective. So I'm here to help them figure out whether it's new projects that they have going on and they need our help with, or whether there's any issues that they have with any of our PayPal APIs that they're using. I'll help them sort those out.
Got it. And then I think you've done yes, for big important clients, but then obviously at a hackathon, you're helping out everybody.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. At the hackathon, I'll be there to help everybody. Okay. So I used to be a sales engineer here at PayPal. So my specialty is essentially helping new businesses that are coming on to use PayPal, help them figure out what are the right APIs for them and how to make sure that they plug in correctly with their business in general.
So you've spoken to a lot of small business owners then?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Spoken to lots of small business owners, and particularly I'm also very familiar with the PayPal plugins within Intuit, and just all the features that those offer to small businesses as well.
Got it. And then PayPal is more than just PayPal now, right?
Yeah, so we have a big family of products. So we've got PayPal, which I hope everybody's familiar with, but also Braintree, who are also based here in our Sydney office, who are essentially power credit card payments for the likes of Uber, Airbnb. We also have other businesses which we own, Zoom, which is a remittances product, Paydian, which is the technology behind the pay at pump in the BP fuel stations. And so those are kind of like the main chapters that we have here at PayPal Australia.
And did PayPal buy Venmo?
Yes, of course we did.
Okay.
We have Venmo. Not so relevant here in Australia.
Okay, got it. Okay.
It's not live, but
okay.
Yes, Venmo is a fantastic product that we offer to our US customers.
Got it. So I definitely use both. I have both PayPal and Venmo. I tend to use PayPal a lot more though. It feels like more institutions use it. Like if I have to pay the PTA or the school, sometimes it seems like they don't have Venmo yet. So they're still using PayPal, which works just fine. Perfect. I will.
It'll get there.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm looking forward to how far away is the PayPal office from the Intuit office? Are they fairly spread out, or
literally like a 5-minute walk?
5-minute walk.
Just around the corner.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Easy. Awesome. Looking forward. So I'll probably will see the PayPal building then when I'm there next week.
Yeah, you probably will.
Why don't you go ahead and share? And while you're doing that, just a reminder: if anybody is watching live, please feel free to put any questions you have in the Q&A panel. And if you're not, this has been recorded. We'll put it up on YouTube. And so if you guys are watching after the fact and you have questions or there's something that's not clear, write them down and Claudia will answer them at the hackathon.
Yes, I will be there to answer any questions at the hackathon. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet. Still just you.
Let me try that again.
Okay. There we go. Perfect.
All right. Okay. So I just wanted to take everybody through the different families of APIs and products that we offer. I won't go into detail into each and every one of them, but essentially, if you go to our developer website, these are kind of the 5 main ones. Express Checkout is the, I guess, most well-known one. It's that PayPal yellow button that you see in a bunch of different websites that allows you to pay with your PayPal account. Braintree is a family of SDKs that allow you to enable PayPal payments, credit card payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and a bunch of others. Invoicing, I'm not going to go into, but it essentially is the ability to send through an API an invoice to a customer. Marketplaces is a more, it's what the word says. It's a more of a marketplace family of payments where say you have we have actually this with Ali in China. So say you are one marketplace, but actually the sellers on your marketplaces are all individual businesses. So marketplaces is a product that allows you to enable those kinds of payments that are going to be processed through a third-party marketplace.
Got it. So if I have my website set up or my app, and I'm just going to take payments from my customers, I'd probably set up Braintree. But if I was setting up some sort of yard tools rental business or something, or people were going to sell them on my marketplace, then I would use the marketplace.
Yes, exactly. You use marketplaces because the difference is there that in that case, the payments are not going to go to you, the owner of the marketplace. They're going to go to each and every one of the individual sellers, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there's a specific product for that. And then lastly, it's payouts, which is just essentially the option to send money to a PayPal account. So if so if you were to have a business in which you are paying out to somebody, like to different customer or different users for different kind of services that they would provide, payouts would be one option to do that. So these are kind of the 5 main ones. So I might just go really quickly into the family of Express Checkout APIs.
Perfect.
As I said before, is the API that allows you to switch on the option to pay with PayPal on a website.
And you can, if you just go to developer.paypal.com, you can sign up, and your one account, you can access all these APIs, or do you have to set up a new account and do things differently?
So not everybody knows this, but all PayPal accounts are developer accounts. So you already have if you already have a PayPal account, if you've ever used PayPal to pay on any website, you have a developer account. So all you have to do is go to developer.paypal.com, and then on this button up here, log into dashboard. You click that, and then you log in just with your normal PayPal credentials. You're going to be able to access all of the developer tools, how to set up credentials for Sandbox, for Live, etc. So everything will be available here. So essentially, whether it's Express Checkout, whether you're through the APIs, or whether you're going to be using one of our Braintree SDKs, you can come in here and generate your API credentials from here. Make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, wonderful. I have a bunch of them already set up, and I'll definitely be there to answer any questions on the day. One more thing is that with PayPal, because there's kind of 2 sides to a simulated payment, you would have to set up a Sandbox business account and also a Sandbox personal account, so that you can simulate transactions between a buyer and a seller.
Okay.
So, and then you can set those up here. So going back to Express Checkout and that family of products, let me just click there. Right, so these days at PayPal, ooh, look at that. I have 5% battery. Let me plug in really quickly.
No problem.
So these days at PayPal, there's kind of a few things that I'm going to go into. The first one is a concept that we call smart payment buttons. So smart payment buttons it's a PayPal JavaScript library, checkout.js, that allows you to turn on PayPal, Venmo in the US, that we were talking about that earlier, and also credit card payments. And the way that it works is that we essentially, if you have a website, then what you would do is provide a div within your page where PayPal would dynamically load the different payment options there, whether that's PayPal, whether it's credit card payments, whether it's, for example, in the US, we have Venmo and PayPal Credit. So those would be loaded within the same space. Now, so the way that PayPal will appear on your website is, or on your whether it's a desktop site or a mobile site, you would have that PayPal button. If you click that PayPal button, the customer sees a pop-up, which is where they can log in, they can review their payment details, and then when they click pay, they will come back to your site. Now, I did want to point out there's a neat little feature here in oops, sorry. Close that. There's a neat little feature on the developer site where you can actually see an interactive demo of all the different options that are offered by our JavaScript library. So I'm just going to go through that really quickly. So this is an interactive site where you have, you can see there at the top, the PayPal checkout.js library is loaded. And this one allows us to turn on and off all of the different features that we can turn on for a PayPal button. So this is, I think this will be a very handy tool to have during the hackathon, because you can essentially have all these code samples here that you can play with. You can test them directly in this website to make sure that that the button is doing exactly what you want it to be doing. And once you've got that ready, you can essentially just copy and paste this code onto your own code.
All right, got it.
Yeah, so it's a really neat resource that that we have out there that you can just play around with. You can put in your own sandbox credentials here. The sandbox credentials that we were talking about before, we have some there by default just for testing, but if you want, you can just pop on your own sandbox credential here and test it, what it will actually look like with your own site. So I'll just give you a real quick overview of how the smart button works. So in this example, we have the checkout JavaScript library loaded up there at the top, and then we have an empty div here, where it's a PayPal button container div. It's wherever in your page you feel that button should be loaded. That's what you define this empty div. And then the way that you render the actual button is that you would call our button.render function, where you would set up all of the different options that you want to set up for a payment. So a few things that you have to pass through. At the very basic, when you're taking a payment from someone, the very basic things that you would need to specify is what is the amount for that payment and what is the currency for that payment. Now, PayPal allows you to take payments in a bunch of different currencies. If that's something that the teams need access to, I'm happy to help them set them up. So you can take payments in all of these different currencies, and all you have to do is specify it at the time of the transaction. So this is the very basic render function. We've got here the environment that it's in, whether that's sandbox or production, our credentials, then the call to action button that the customer is going to see, the payment parameters. In this case, it's very basic parameters. It's just the amount and the currency. And then finally, just the callback functions that allow you to define what's going to happen when the customer is done authorizing the payment. Sorry, I jumped around a little bit there, but that's the first thing that I wanted to show you on Express Checkout. Now, the second thing that I wanted to take you through are these three options here. These are the three integration types, and it goes from very basic, where all you do is load a client-side library, so just a checkout library on your site, and this is pretty much enough to execute a payment. So this would be this client-side REST version of the library is the most straightforward one to integrate if you just want to enable a payment and that's it. Now, if you might have, depending on what your app is doing, depending on what your needs are, you might need something a little bit more. You might need a little bit more of this processing to take place on your server side. Then in that case, we have the server-side version of this example, where the payment is getting initiated on your server side, the payment is getting executed on your server side, and then the client-side library is just there to render the button, essentially. And then lastly, with the Braintree SDK here, which I'm going to go into very quickly, the Braintree SDK is very similar to the server-side REST SDK. The main thing is that with the Braintree SDK, it might be something that you would need to look at. You might want to look at if you're doing a native mobile integration as well. So if you're doing depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a web integration, you might want to be looking at either a client-side REST or server-side REST, or you could be doing Braintree. But if you're doing all three, if you're doing a web integration, if you're doing a native app on Android, or if you're doing a native app on iOS, definitely encourage you to look at the Braintree SDK integration, which will give you a lot of, it'll just make things a lot easier for you.
So if I use the Braintree integration, is it going to still look and feel like the PayPal one? Like I'll still get a PayPal checkout button, or will it just be more of just a credit card form?
No, you'll get you can use the Braintree SDK to just turn on PayPal.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So you'll get the same button, you'll get all the same functionality, and it will look exactly the same. The main difference is here that with these REST APIs, you'll be pinging our APIs directly. So you will be doing your own HTTP request to the PayPal API endpoints directly. Whereas with the SDK does those calls for you and just allows you to integrate it really easily.
Got it. So you've just wrapped the PayPal Express checkout into the Braintree SDK.
Exactly. It's calling in the background, it'll be calling the same APIs.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So so those are kind of the three main options, and I will happy to go up to all the different teams and discuss what it is that they want to do and help them figure out which would be the right version for them, depending on what the team is doing.
And is this just to do like check out, like, hey, this person's paying $100, they click the checkout button and they pay? But what if it's like a subscription, or maybe the payments are split, or it's recurring, like $100 this month and $50 next month and $50 every month after?
So, and these are the things that'll help the teams. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we just froze for a second there.
Yeah, sorry. So these are the things that'll definitely help the teams figure out on the day of. If they're just taking a straightforward payment, really, I think the client-side REST version of this, it's really the easiest way to go. It's literally just some JavaScript code on your front end. But if you're doing things like you said, like subscriptions, if you're doing, for example, if you're allowing folks to store their PayPal account so that next time they come to make a payment, they don't have to log into their PayPal account again. So if you're doing recurring payment subscriptions, all of those things, or if, for example, if you are in a situation where you initially have to just do an authorization for the payment, but you actually have to wait a few hours or a few days to capture the payment, then that adds a little bit of complexity to the that'll add a little bit of complexity to the integration, and that's where you might be looking at the server side or the clients, the server side REST version or the Braintree SDK version.
Got it.
So these are the three main ones that I wanted to go through. I guess these will cover the bulk of use cases for the different teams. And these are all JavaScript ones, but for Braintree SDK, we also have a native iOS and a native Android library, which are all on our GitHub, and I'm happy to provide the links. I won't go into these three, the Braintree Direct, Invoicing, and Marketplaces, but I'll just go really quickly into the payouts piece. So payouts, as I was saying before, is an API that allows you to send money. It just allows you to send money to any PayPal account. So it's a really interesting one, and anybody who has a PayPal account, essentially, they'd be able to provide you with their email address, and you can send money to their PayPal account. So it's quite a simple concept, really, but it's just a unique API in the sense that it allows you to enable those kinds of models.
So you could kind of have if you really got full automation, that vendor emails you the invoice automatically gets shoved into QuickBooks, and you have an app that reads the invoices that need to be paid out of QuickBooks, or the bills that need to be paid out of QuickBooks, and it automatically sends the payment to them, and you could completely take all human interaction out of that whole cycle by paying them again.
Yeah, that's something that it could be a potential use case. So
you'd be on one side of it, just the sending the payment side, but then we'd be on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. exactly. So just one more thing that I wanted to cover, and I'm really, really sorry, but it looks like I am actually going to be out of battery very soon.
Okay. It's good that that it's not, it's not a super huge API. So, and it's obviously
Yeah,
fast to get onboarded. Everybody has an account
yeah.
already.
Yes, yes. So just something that I really wanted to touch on is the experience of paying. It's something that I really want to emphasize. It's going to be really important in terms of how the price is going to be judged.
Okay.
In terms of the best PayPal API integration. The main criteria for that is going to be the experience. So how easy it is for a customer to pay. What does what does that customer see in their PayPal account when they have paid you some money? Do they actually see what they have paid for? So there's two things. Number one is the ease once the customer has paid that API, and number two is how easy it is for them to find information about that payment in their PayPal account. And then the third thing is, how easy is it for you as a business to then figure out how to, for example, reconcile that payment? Are you passing in things like an invoice ID that could then pop up in your QuickBooks when you're doing the reconciliation for your PayPal payments? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's great. And what prize are you giving out?
Yes, so we have two speakers that we're giving a prize for the best PayPal API integration.
We might have lost the connection for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we may have lost the connection for a second. Can you repeat? All I heard was speakers.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So these we have some Ultimate Ears Boom 2 speakers, the Bluetooth speakers that we're giving out as a prize for the best integration. Awesome.
And then just one question I had. Obviously, if a small business owner, I run all my payments through PayPal. I'm assuming I have some sort of PayPal dashboard as a customer to see all my payments and my account information.
Yes.
Do you have any APIs to get that information and pull it out, or?
Yes, we do. So we have an API which actually is not in that list of APIs that I showed you before, but it's a data API that allows you to connect to your own account and pull all the API, all the account activity, any transaction activity of transactions that have come in and out of your account. We can pull that as well. Yes. Okay,
got it. And then will that be available to be used during the hackathon as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me now the documentation. Just let me make sure that it's up here, and that I can share it with the rest of the folks on the day of.
Okay, perfect. That works.
Okay.
So I could see some use cases around that. I'll let you go. It sounds like your battery is about in its last second here. Thank you for pulling this off. I know this is a little bit last minute trying to hammer this out. I get on an airplane tomorrow. We just wanted to make sure this is recorded so everybody that's coming to the hackathon has a chance to get on it. Just go to developer.paypal.com. It looks pretty straightforward. The one thing I noticed, and I don't know if it's imitation or flattery, but it feels like our site looks a lot like the PayPal site. So if you're familiar with the developer.intuit.com, PayPal's looks very similar, so you should be able to navigate it very quickly, if not faster. It looks like that Claudia has dropped. Her power has gone out. So with that, we're going to end this, and I'll see you guys in Sydney. Bye.